All right. Yikes. I've got so much on my mind, but anyway, I'll start with this one. Last Sabbath, most of you know my situation, right? You know that ankylosing spondylitis has damaged my life, changed my life dramatically, that I can no longer sit for long, stand, sit, kneel. All of that is impossible, really, as a church is a disaster. I can't even sit at the table with my children. Last year, I bought a tablecloth with the hope that one day we will sit as a family again at the dinner table. Here I am, it's March 2024, over a year since I bought it, and it's still folded up. Because by the time I've dished out for everybody, I can't sit anymore. I eat lying down. That is the extent of the pain in my SI joints. So church doesn't happen. Secondly, as you know, I have different children with different needs and anxieties and worries and concerns and problems, true problems. So last Sabbath, in a group where we're discussing the testimonies that were written. It's a book that it's books that we've been studying, written by one of by our main founder, and so one of the admin ladies commented how, "Shoo, it is so lovely to be entering Sabbath." Hey, she was going to rest from her secular work. She was going to get a break from her secular duties to be able to just bask in worshiping, and I know serving. She's a servant. She doesn't rest when she's at church, but serving at church, it's a different kind of work, especially if you're physically healthy, which I assume she is. So, she was looking forward to it. And I've seen that with my husband. He'll get home and say, "Whew, I'm so glad it's the weekend." But the weekend for many stay-at-home moms doesn't mean that that's cessation of work. You're actually doing the same work even on Sabbath, except you're not sweeping, you're not mopping, but you're still mothering, you're being mommy. So I don't get that. Whew, I am away. I'm still in the same place. And so I wrote and I said, because I'm mindful that I'm not the only one in the Adventist church who's got a child or children with special needs. And I actually mentioned that some years ago, long ago, I remember an invitation came from a different congregation inviting us to an afternoon where they were going to teach about autism. And I can't remember the wording in the invitation. I was part of the church board, so we received it. But I can't remember the wording. But this is long ago, but from the context, the way I read it was, there is a mother in our congregation who is being judged harshly and unfairly for, I don't know if she wasn't attending church enough or how she's acting or how her child is acting, but either way, she was not feeling welcome at church. And it was because people don't understand what autism is. I didn't attend the afternoon, but I knew I would be sensitive if I ever find a mother with an autistic child, but I didn't attend the afternoon program, mainly because I had stuff going on. Sorry, I've got sinusitis, and I've just done a breathing treatment for the bronchitis that has settled in my lungs. So maybe my voice also sounds off. It sounds off in my ears. So yeah, I didn't attend, and then there I am with children who are autistic. So as I said, I wrote in the group and I said, for those parents, so I mentioned there was a young lady who, when she was first dealing with this whole thing of no break, her husband was not on the ball. He was just like, "Oh, I've got the weekend, I'm resting now." And for him that meant resting. I'm not gonna be a father, but a practical, hands-on father. I'm not gonna say, "All right, kids, I'm going to make a breakfast." That which we do 24/7. So that's the thing. As mothers, generally, we are the ones who are always making the food, serving the food, taking the plates out, making sure, every day. It doesn't stop. And if you are a stay-at-home mom, that is then a routine that goes on every day, like every day. So she was feeling it. She really was. He was not getting it. That, okay, she also needs a break from her routine. She needs a Sabbath, a rest from her routine. So I mentioned that and I said, that was hard. I hate to say but about a situation, but it is a situation I had lived myself. But neurotypical children grow, or level 1 autistic children grow, and they can then go and, because part of it was keeping the children busy, watching the children, making sure they're not doing anything naughty when they're out in the church yard. So that's the thing, you always alert and aware. Are they being naughty? Are they being safe? Is someone else being good to them? Is someone not being good? There's a lot that goes on with being an on parent. So even when you're at church, you are on duty. So, and I will be honest, I have kept what goes into my children's heads pure. But I think at age 7 or 6, they heard about sex. Where? At church, from other children. So you're hyper alert, and it wasn't like, oh, do you know where babies come from? It was let's go and kiss bums. So they didn't, but that is what was introduced to them from other children. And that's the thing. A parent will send their child to school and they have no clue what their child is being shown or taught by fellow classmates. So definitely it's not the parents. It's not the parents' fault, because it is the norm. The norm is to go and send your children to be surrounded by other children. And then whatever they hear, they keep in their heads. So I had to be super aware of I was super alert. Okay, where are they now? What are they doing? Who are they with? If I don't see them, I need to go find them because I don't know what someone is saying or suggesting. So you are on. So that was her cry. But when they become older, especially if you're at home, after church, for example, then they can go off and read. Or they can go off, you give them a sermon. As I've mentioned before, my children, my older two, they used to love sermons from age 8. They would ask for sermons and then go shut themselves in a wardrobe. Well, they'd go sit in a wardrobe, door open, like literally sit in the bottom of a closet on their tummies watching a sermon. Those of you Adventists will recognize the name Randy Skeet. They enjoyed watching Randy Skeet sermons. So then I could have a kind of Sabbath rest. I could take a break. But then when my other children came, it changed. And now when the older two are older, they can read. So I can take a break with them. So I was saying in my message that when they become older, it changes. You do get more of a rest. You can tell those children, it's your turn to dish out the food now. If your husband is still not with the program, she has made sure her husband steps to it and does his thing too, because he is the father, he made them. So, but yeah, then you can get the children as well to dish out the food and serve mom for a change. So, and also during the week. So they grow. But my point was, if you are a mother who is like that mother, or a mother like me, I don't know about her child's level of autism, but I've got children who will ever be children, who will ever need me to be on, always, every day, all day, even when my husband is there. So let's say he is off washing their bottles, I'm still thinking, what is she doing? Why is she crying? What is she screaming about? What is he, like if we go to church, is he scared? Is he scared of the bird that is walking over there? That's my son. Are they hating the fact that there are different pictures on the wall? It discombobulates my older children. So I know mentally, yes, they're sitting, they're not crying, but they're not okay. And as a mom, I know that, and I'm hyper aware that they're not okay. We're going to need to go home and decompress. So they will be sitting in church, in class, children's class, and I'm there with them, and they'll be looking around if I'm there. Looking around, like, okay, this is not the norm. This is not what we're used to. Or the chairs are different, or the piano is different. And it bothers them. And those are the easier children who I can say to go and color in. But then you've got the child who will never, or does not at this point, show that they will ever understand the concept of coloring in. You've got the child who can't read. You don't know that they even understand if you say, well, you know, they don't. I don't know if they don't understand, but if you say, bring it to me, bring it, they don't understand it. And they're 4 years old. For a 4-year-old turning 5 this year, and she cannot, if I say, give it to me, it doesn't compute. You might say, please, and then she'll put it in your hand, but if I say, please pick up that paper or pick up your bowl, if she puts it on the floor, it doesn't compute. I don't know what's going on inside. So that level of not ability, but yeah, ability, that is something that makes you as the parent constantly on. Your brain is constantly working. When they're crying, you don't know why they're crying, because they can't speak. Like, well, my angel who doesn't understand an instruction or follow the instruction to pick something up or give it to mommy or take it to whoever. You have to live it. But for those people, I was saying, we don't get a Sabbath. And for you, I understand that you, whatever condition your child has, you will never get a Sabbath. They don't sleep at night. They are awake early in the morning. They want things that, I'll go back to my child, that things are impossible. Like, putting hundreds of toys in a little cup like this and then getting super upset that it's falling out. I've described these issues before. So you are always agitated, anxious, distressed. In a way, it is true. You are distressed. It is distressing, and it is on and all the time. So I was just saying that, our rest is promised as well. We will get a Sabbath. And unfortunately, this goes on until they're adults. We know adult autistics who are like my child. The logic is not there. They've got severe global developmental delay, and they're little children in big bodies, which is even harder. How do you control a child pulling you when they're bigger than you and stronger than you? So for those people, I was saying, I see you. Everyone else who lives a normal life doesn't understand that you don't get a Sabbath, but I know you don't. And so I see you. And then I get a response. My friends, oh my word, my friend's autistic child goes for walks, and then they give a quote from one of these holy books about how walking is very good and more people should walk out, out in nature. And I thought, this group is not about debating, and it's not. So I just wrote to the person privately and I said, dude, I didn't say that. I said, while I appreciate that your intention was good, I guess, you're trying to help, I am a veteran of autism. I do have 4 children. There's more, but they're older, so they don't want to be known. I do have 4 children who are autistic, and they're all different. Your friend's autistic child is not like any of my autistic children. One autistic child does not represent all autistic children. What works for one autistic child does not work for every other autistic child. So you're telling me to go take a walk. You don't even know how my child will react to taking a walk. And still these days, that is still like, maybe she'll take a walk 1 out of 5 times, 1 out of 6. She's not happy out there. The children went to fetch my husband from the airport this week. She refused to even get out the car. They want to go for walks. She refuses to get out the yard. They think, okay, let's trick her, let's drive somewhere, because she likes the car. She loves the car. So let's drive somewhere, and then she can take a walk? No. So telling me to take my child, because I'm specifically thinking of the one who truly will fall from what we see at the moment, who is the most taxing, let's put it that way, the one who needs the most thought, yes, the one who needs the most thought. Telling me to go take her for a walk out in nature is useless to me, because she doesn't want to. It makes her cry. It makes her scream. She is anxious. So your suggestion, while well-intentioned, doesn't help me. Secondly, can I take a walk? He doesn't know me. That's the thing. It's a group of over 100 people, I think. He doesn't know my story. What if I'm in a wheelchair? And that's what I hadn't thought of. What if he's talking to someone who is in a wheelchair? Take a walk. What if I'm disabled in my bed? Take a walk. So I was saying it's nice that you wanted to help. But firstly, your friend's autistic child doesn't mirror all my autistic children who have all different idiosyncrasies. Secondly, you don't even know that I can walk. You don't know whether I can take a walk or not. So I told him my lung function doesn't even let me walk up a mountain anymore. So your advice was well-meaning, but actually not useful at all. And so can you first ask someone, if you really think they don't know what they're doing in raising their autistic child? Oh, the irony. Ask. Don't just assume. Ask. Then that will be really helpful. And so I will share how we go through and navigate our days, our school life. And then I'm just going to share little snippets of what we do. And this goes into Sabbath. It bleeds into Sabbath. So some of it is Sabbath stuff that we do. Not the school, but school for me is educating and teaching the Bible. And educating on nature is school. So we do homeschool 24/7, even on Sabbath. Don't all parents? So yeah, these are just snippets of what we in our autistic family do. And some of it happens because my girl, some of the snippets you will see, happen because my girl refused to go for a walk. And she will refuse even if I say, let's go out. So it's not that she wants mommy to take her for a walk, she doesn't want to go out. And that's okay. I'm going to share a picture of, she loves flowers, she loves nature, she always has. I think I'll share a video of it. It's going to be all weird, it's going to be put together. But even broccoli, if I open the fridge and I take out a packet of broccoli pre-chopped, because hey, I've got a bad back, I have to do the easiest for me. So I'll take out a pack of pre-chopped broccoli, and she will run and she will ask for that broccoli, and then she will take it and just cradle it. It must be so crazy, but it must look weird, but she will tenderly cradle that whole packet of broccoli, which I'm meant to be cooking. And then she'll take some florets and she will hold them, and she loves them. And that is how she is with nature and trees. And that's why sometimes she will go out with branches, but not always. So our yard is full of bushes and trees. So this morning when she refused to go for a Sabbath walk, she stayed home. And I couldn't. As I said, I've just done a nebulizer treatment with Duolin. It makes you all agitated. It's a horrible feeling. I feel nauseated, but at least it's opened up my airways for a bit, so I can speak. I mean, you can see I haven't coughed in a while, eh? So it's useful, but it gives you a headache. I feel sick inside from it. But so in the morning, I hadn't yet done my breathing treatment, and I'd had now my third night of no sleep in a row because my chest closes up. It's like I've got stuff in my lungs and I can't breathe through them because the stuff is in my lungs. So, and I can hear the wheezing, like the crackling when I breathe in. So it was a bad night again. So I was tired and just sick. The guys, my respiratory rate went up to 35. Normal is 18 to 20. I am breathing fast. I'm not okay. So I had a horrible night and I couldn't get comfortable on the pillows either. And yeah, so I said, she's staying. Because I've mentioned before, when they go for a walk, that is my opportunity to kind of decompress or to go and make their supper. That is my time to not have to worry about entertaining a child who will pull me. But she didn't. So I said to my husband, uh-oh, what are we going to do? Because I'm not strong enough right now to go for a walk, to go and care for her. So my son said, we'll take care of her. My son is as illogical as she is. He doesn't reason from cause to effect. They've let her do dangerous things before. So, and I mean, I love my boy, my baby boy, but he's not looking after anyone. So yes, he and his 9-year-old sister stayed behind, and dad said, okay, no, their dad said, okay, I'll go and, keep an eye on them. So some of the video is from yesterday afternoon, Sabbath evening, when she refused to go for a walk that I took. And some of it is stuff he took, like the branches one. That's when she's with her brother by the bushes, and then she's pulling her brother's hand, wanting him to take down branches for her. That was Dad this morning. And this is how our Sabbath goes. And this is how our life goes. Our homeschool is different. That's how it goes. That's how it is. I did try and contact a place that allegedly helps children. So if your processing, how your brain processes and thinks is terrible, if it's slow and weak and dysfunctional, then you can't learn. You can't learn. If you don't know how to think of 1 plus 1, if that makes no sense to you, then how will you learn 23 plus 15? You can't. So I wanted people who will help my children's brains to work on that foundational level. Things that are normal in other children, those foundational abilities, unseen, invisible, they need them. I've heard nothing back. It's been 3 weeks. They said they'll phone me. Yeah. So we do a mix of normal school, but also just little things, to keep their brains moving, to keep their hands moving, even though it's not what they should be doing for their age. And that comes to my last pet peeve. So my first pet peeve is someone telling me about their dog's children's cousin's baby and relating it to my situation. And secondly, it's doctors who pressurize parents to not homeschool. Our pediatrician, I'd actually done a different video on this a month ago, but I never got around to posting it. And I'd even posited a hypothesis or a question. I had a thought. So when I go to the pediatrician, I take my children maybe for their high heart rate, for the floating rib syndrome, we still don't have help. Take them for an infected finger, just anything. And he will invariably ask about each child. Have you found them a school yet? I am a homeschooling mom. I am the school. I'm not looking for a school. I would look for a school, but they will bring back viruses firstly. So I can't anymore. Look at what this has done to me. They've just got sniffles. This is in my sinuses and in my chest. So that's a hard no anyway. And secondly, will he pay? Will he pay the exorbitant school fees for them? No, he won't. So stop. Just like the other guy, he doesn't even know our situation, how my medical costs and all their medical costs are already prohibiting any of these expensive schools. And thirdly, that hurt. Thirdly, is school the best for any autistic child? Any child with ADHD, is it the best for them? And many autistics will unequivocally tell you, no, it's not. Because the school teacher doesn't know you like a parent knows you, firstly. And secondly, there are many, many more irritants for their regulation than there are at home. There are more children with their different smells. There are more children with their different noises. There's weird lighting. Some autistics don't like the sound of fluorescent light bulb, the sound of a fluorescent light bulb. And if they're non-verbal, they can't tell you, or can't tell the teacher that I can't stand the light. And even if they are speaking, so what? The school has put in a fluorescent light bulb, and that is that. If the teacher wears her perfume that the child is sensitive to, too bad. School is not the best for a parent that is coping at home, especially when there are no government-funded schools and no government-funded aids for each child. And so, I will mention a case where a mother, like me, was homeschooling her child, who I would say is level 1 autistic. She could do her work. She was fine and she enjoyed educating her child. But like my pediatrician, her child's neurologists and pediatricians were also saying, when are you going to put your child in school? And as had happened with us as well, family was not being familiar, not being supportive. And they were also saying, when are you going to send your child to school? Because, follow the herd. So against her better judgment, she sent her child to school. Child would come home, never said anything, until the school contacted them, the parents, and said, we need to talk to you. Can you come over? And that's when they heard that their child is distressed and distraught at school. Abilities she had, she lost. She lost her ability to control her bladder. She had been potty trained for over a year, no accidents. But at school, consistently, she was wetting herself. She couldn't answer things that were simple, actually very easy, below her standard, her level of ability, academic ability in the school. She was hurting herself. She was suffering. And she never said a word. Maybe she never thought to say a word. Like me, I never told my parents about the racist stuff my teachers were doing. It never even crossed my mind. So maybe this poor girl, it's not that she wouldn't have told them if they had asked, but my parents never asked. So what are your teachers like? Are they kind? So just like the parents, they thought she's happy. They didn't know. She was not happy. Thankfully, the school is a nice school. I don't know how many patients, how many children there are per class. So they offered, do you want us to, how can we help her? Which is a good sentiment. But the mom thought, And she asked her child 2 simple questions when they were at home. Do you want to go back to school? The child said no. And she asked her, do you want mommy to teach you? And that sweet autistic girl said yes. That's all she needed. And she said both her and her husband went through horrible things at school. And this was a good school that her child was going to. See, that's the thing. It's a good school. But it's not good enough for her autistic child. And of course, she continued. She took her out of school and is homeschooling her and will never doubt herself again. And in the video that I was going to post, I was going to ask, does this pediatrician who isn't like me, race-wise, does he ask all homeschooling parents if they have found schools for their children? Or does he ask only parents who are black? And then I thought, South African whites, I'm going to be honest here, South African whites really become irate when you mention race. So I thought I'm not going to post that part. So I just asked in 2 homeschool special needs groups for recommendations. I just said, can someone please recommend a pediatrician who will respect us and our choices? Support us. It's not like I'm going there and saying, I've been trying to teach her to recognize A, B, and C, and she just is failing. What do I do? I'm not. So can someone please recommend a teacher, a pediatrician, who will not even he's second guessing me anyway in front of my children. What are you implying to my children? So the first recommendation was by a non-black mother homeschooling, and the recommendation was for our pediatrician. And I thought, there we go. It's always going to be the case. Not always, but when we feel it, when we see it, when we wonder about it, it's actually we're right. And we don't want to be right. That's the sad thing. We don't want to know that there's someone else out there who we are trusting with our children's health, who thinks we are inept, we are stupid. incompetent just because of our skin color, because we are not going to them thinking skin color. We are thinking human. That's all. And so when I will post, I will add snippets. This is our homeschooling life. It suits our children. It suits their abilities. It suits their needs. And for me, that is what matters most. Solving x in 3x plus y. My children don't need that. They need to be safe. Every child needs to be safe, even the one that can solve 4x in the equation 3x plus y equals whatever. But for children who we all know they won't ever be able to. I mean, they've been assessed. There is the question of dyscalculia, and the other one was like, don't even bother with him. And if we've been told, don't even make him write, why would we take him to a school where he will be forced to write? What kind of cruel parent does this pediatrician and the other ones, all the other doctors who also told a brown-skinned parent to put a child in school where her child was distraught? Why would they do that? We want our children to be safe. Education is secondary. Deal with it. And so this is our educational journey. This is how it is. And again, I know my autistic child is not going to be like yours, but I'm hoping that how we do it will help a mother whose child is younger and might glean, some extra facts from it, especially in Africa, where resources are really low. I will add that Christian Light shipping is not too extreme, it's not too expensive, and they arrive very fast from overseas to us. And for us, they come straight to our house. So yeah, it's worth it if you can afford it. It's worth getting Christian Light. It's cheaper than other curricula. And for us as Christians, it works with minor tweaks here and there. And isn't that the point of homeschooling? Doing tweaks here and there. So I supplement with a lot of professional occupational therapy resources, which I pay for. I have subscriptions to things like the Inspired Treehouse. I have subscriptions to things like Your Therapy Source. These are real working therapists. And that's the other thing, he even questioned me that, okay, who are these people legit? I don't care. If they are doing something that is making my children's brain work more, that's all we need. My children can't draw straight lines. So I'll show you one of the things we do that is helping them to learn to draw straight lines, and it's fun for them. And that's all that matters. Using their brains. You don't need to use their brains to solve for X, my word. They just need to know how to love, to know that they are loved, and to do their best. Yeah. So I hope these things will help, and I hope they'll just be informative for anyone else. And I hope that teachers who are in a special school will think about why a child, or even in a mainstream school, and if you're teaching a child with special needs, whether they're ADHD or whatever it may be, if the child is acting not okay, dig deep and maybe have a talk with the parents and see what other possibilities there are for them. So much of this I've got from the website Temu, Temu. Temu, I don't know how you pronounce it, I just say Temu. I compared prices. It was cheaper than what I could find online in South Africa. I did it because for me, education is stimulation, especially for our children. So I bought wallpaper. As I said, my daughter likes even broccoli. So I bought a wall sticker, just the plain plant wall sticker, to try and make her feel happier in her bedroom. And she loved it. She loved it. Flowers, she shouted. And she put all her babies under the flowers. And she lay down, put her finger in her mouth, and just loved on that wall sticker. And the very next day it was still there. That's the kind of stuff I do also. I bring in sensory things that will bring peace. It's not educational, but it's sensory. Because at the end of the day, you can only learn when your mind is settled. So we did that. I got sensory stuff. I got sticky, like I got stickers, or what's called luminous stars to just shine at night, just for fun, to make them happy. And I loved how my very talkative 4-year-old twin said in the morning, it was twinkling, the stars were twinkling. And this is nothing I want to say. So many of us mothers feel so guilty that there's not much we can do. Like when we are chronically ill, we can't run, we can't jump, that kind of stuff. But we can add to them. There's a lot we can add to them to make them happy. Our children don't expect as much as we expect of ourselves. They really don't. So any extra is really special to them. And that's the other nice thing about homeschooling. There is no peer pressure. Oh, so-and-so has this kind of bat and my bat is from wherever, I'm not good enough. Whatever they get, my children appreciate because they know no different. And so for them, it was twinkling, Mom. That sounds so magical in a way. But of course, I don't believe in magic and witchcraft and all of that, but it sounded magical. And that was just 4 stars that I could put on the wall for each child before I got tired. And my not so talkative twin, she saw them on the wall and she shouted, stars! That's what I want. I just want them just to increase their vocab. They don't need to be Einstein. They just need to be growing and progressing in and of themselves, in who they are, not what a school dictates they should be. So that was one of the things we did. I ordered things from Temu for them. Let me see what else I did. And there were these little animals, plastic animals, that I ordered. Because see, I know their interests. I know that they love to order things and to arrange things. So this video that you're going to see is what she was doing. From Friday, she had been outside with her siblings when she refused to go for a walk, and they'd been playing with her toy, with the colored animals. You're happy. You recruited your sister and brother.
Drag our hands and not finish it.
She dragged your hands.
Yes, you put it like this. And you make it like and then you take a piece and then make us do that and then put it.
This is from Temu. T-E-M-U.
This stuff.
Yes. She's so happy. Thank you for helping her.
Yes, that's what she does.
Like maybe in her head you are playing with her. She is playing with you because she's letting you do her favorite thing. So you are playing with Rio. Yeah, that is cool. And then Saturday morning, she still remembered, oh, I was round the corner with these. And she was happy going in and out, taking a few and going to dump them in the box. It was simple stuff that she was enjoying. Little things like that. Letting them be themselves, and also letting them be happy in themselves, being who they are and what they're interested in.
Yay, you clapped. Yay.
Both my twins are definitely autistic. But we haven't had my very talkative twin diagnosed. So they're both autistic, but in different ways. So she loved puzzles anyway. She liked puzzles and she enjoyed. It took her a while to figure out that she would see the right thing and put it in the right place, but then she didn't know that she can twist it. She'd just give up. So we had to teach her that, just turn it and it'll work. But now with my generally non-talking child,
Puzzles were just not interesting to her. And if she failed once to get it in, she just didn't care. So she stopped playing with puzzles. But I wanted her to play with puzzles for her fine motor skills. So it wasn't on purpose. I got them a sound puzzle just to make it more fun for them, for all of them, all the younger 4 children. So that was the first time my non-talking angel finished a puzzle, because the sound made it rewarding for her. Another thing I got also from Temu, however you pronounce it, were these felt things. They're from a felt board. And you, as you can see, different emotions. It's one of those things that we were even taught to do, or told to do by the psychologist with my 8 and 9-year-old. And interestingly, my daughter, my 4-year-old non-speaking angel, loved this one and this one. So I taught her what they say. I taught them all, but she really just is interested in these 2. So she'll come into my room. I'm in my room right now. And she will say, excited, or she'll say sad. Like she pronounces it slightly different. But yes, she loves them. And she says them. And so when she then hears the word excited on video, she gets super excited herself, because, there it is. Whether she knows what the emotions themselves actually mean or feel like, I don't know. But, yeah. So these have helped, she said, words that she hadn't been saying, or prompted by these pictures. Her 8-year-old brother, who does have diagnosed global developmental delay, is 8 years old. We're doing the kindergarten level for him. And this is me to not obviously, but it should write the next number. As we can see, there are some problems. So the psychologist had actually said we should not even bother trying to get him to write, because he's not going to manage. And as you can see there, I know I've shared it before. So what I do now is I make him just use the calculator and pick the right number, or I make him use my phone. And same with my daughter for writing words or spelling, especially spelling tests for my girl. I use my computer or my iPad, and then she just spells by typing, and she does much better than when she's writing and trying to remember how to write. As you can see, we have a problem with capitals. She uses capitals, and again, this is part of the whole visual discrimination, visual perceptual problems in terms of size, how big things are, how small things are. And yeah, so this is how things are going. This is my special needs angel. These are my special needs angels. Another one we're doing is Adventures with Books. This one I think was by Milestone Books. Well, it was a Rod and Stock book, and Christian Light sells it, but it's not a Christian Light curriculum. So yeah, he also does this. He really struggled with coloring. This is actually a vast improvement. But yeah, he just really hates all things to do with coloring, writing. But we do want him to practice, just a little bit. 8 years old. And also try to get him to make things realistic. We're getting there. So this is how his curriculum is like. And then the rest of the day is filled with educational videos. We do Khan Academy. I use Khan Academy as well. This is the reader, my daughter's reader. We use Khan Academy to fill in the blanks, and because they do better on iPad, on technology, than on paper. But there are some gaps in the Khan thing. For grade 1 maths to grade 2, it's a big jump, and it's too big for my daughter, who we assume or believe, together with the psychologist, we believe she has dyscalculia, which is a maths disorder, like truly numbers, maths, the concept, it's not there for her. She reads well. She does add words or short word, like isn't she'll say Bob is good to the nip or whatever, something like that. When we do the time tested Bob is good, she will go Bob is good, like that, or she'll say Bob is good to nip, and her finger won't have reached. So even that, getting that concept into her mind, it's taking a long time. There's no formula to these children. What I like about it is it's the closest of these types of syllabi or curricula that also has a sort of therapeutic, therapeutic slant. Like this part, this is for visual perception. And as you can tell, this is why we're doing vision therapy for my angel. Yeah, I guess you can see. So it has that aspect only. It's not only just pure let's read, but it's also let's work your brain, let's get your brain moving, and things like that. The other syllabi we had weren't like this curricula. Maybe the others are, but yeah, this is one of the things I like about it. Find two that are the same again: visual perception and also working memory. Let's see. This one also for comprehension. When we've read a story, instead of her having to answer by writing, because writing is not her strong point, she really is struggling with that. She can just circle the correct answer, fill in the blanks. So it helps, it gives her confidence. Instead of having to write everything and then she'll say, oh, I can't spell this, I can't spell that. She just has to recognize the correct answer. So yes, there was a bit of our extra special homeschool. When I think of more things to add, I will let you know. This obviously was not everything because I can't remember everything we do. It flows, it's organic. We do books, but we don't do books the normal way. Maybe I should post some pictures of what we do with books, but as long as the books are there. So what I do, because it's a stereotypical thing for autistics to not enjoy reading. They don't want to read a story, and most of my children have been like that. So even my very talkative 4-year-old, she prefers to look at the pictures, not actually listen to what I'm saying about the words and matching the pictures. So what I do is I record myself reading the book, and then she is watching me read, and then she can't rush and just push, turn the page. So she gets to hear the story, and she can't turn the page without listening to the story. So she gets more words and vocabulary in her head that way. And the last thing, I think I had mentioned it or I alluded to it, the paper, the stuff that I've been downloading online from reputable OTs, occupational therapists, where they're practicing tracing and drawing straight lines. I put those pages in a plastic sleeve so that we can then spray and wipe off the actual work, and then just repeat and rinse and repeat until they get comfortable. Not only with straight lines, but also following mazes, anything like that. Then we don't have to waste paper and money buying ink by reprinting. We just keep them, and every now and then, after a while, we repeat the pages. They enjoy them. My son actually loves writing on the plasticky paper. It's his favorite form of school, so he says. So that is that. Thank you for listening. I lied. Sorry. We also do speech blabs. It's a professional program for speech language therapists. Hey, I studied speech language pathology, so I reckon I'm a speech therapist. And you can do the normal program, speech blabs, and it helps with language, with pronunciation, which my children do need, with recognition and putting sounds. It tests sounds at the beginning, the middle, and at the end. So they really enjoy it, and you can, what's it called? Individualize it.
Each child, you can put their own face or make their own avatar, and the children have really been enjoying it.